Ladies and gentlemen, get your controllers ready. It's time for...
We Play, You Play.
Yes, We Play, You Play. The segment where we are looking at a game. Last week we looked at Portal. This week, let me think, Portal 2?
Yeah.
Okay, so, Portal 2. Last week we were talking about Portal, and if memory serves me correctly, Ian scored it like 9.5 out of 10, or Stu scored it 9.5 out of 10, when he scored a 9. And I gave it like a 7 or 8. So it went down pretty well. Now, how long was it? 2007 for Portal, 2011 for Portal 2. So, was it 3.5 years or 4 years?
I think it was 3.5, because I think it was early last year.
Yeah. So, in 3.5 years, how far did Portal 2 come?
Surprisingly, quite a lot. Mainly due to the fact that the first game was, it wasn't designed to be a full game. It was more of an advancement on a project that someone had done. And this is a full game, a proper storyline, proper actors. Well, I say actors, I mean voice work. A lot more to it, actually.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ian's going to give us a little intro into this. He's been looking forward to this for weeks. And then we'll hear a little bit of GLaDOS for the first time in Portal 2. So here's Ian.
Portal 2 draws from the award-winning formula of the gameplay, story and music from the original game. The single-player portion of Portal 2 introduces a cast of dynamic new characters, a host of fresh puzzle elements, and a much larger set of devious test chambers. Players explore never-before-seen areas of the Aperture Science Labs and are reunited with GLaDOS, the occasionally murderous computer companion who guides them through the original game. The game's two-player cooperative mode features its own entirely separate campaign with unique story, test chambers and 2 new player characters. This new mode forces players to reconsider everything they thought they knew about Portals. Success will require them not just to act cooperatively, but to think cooperatively as well.
Yes, so Portal 2. Thank you,
Okay,
that was beautiful. Now, I remember when this came out, and I didn't get it straight away because there's so much hype around it, obviously, because Portal it had a few years to sort of pick up momentum, because it was big at the start, but it got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then, of course, Portal 2, and there's so much hype around it, and what's going to happen, and blah, blah, blah. And everybody was talking about it, and I played Portal, but I wasn't that interested in it, and I just kind of,
Yeah.
And I confess, I didn't buy Portal 2 until it was on quite cheap, actually.
Yeah, I was similar. Well, I say similar, as in I bought it later. I really enjoyed Portal, as you probably heard last week, but Portal 2 wasn't something I thought my machine would be able to handle when I had my old computer. So it wasn't. Yeah, so it wasn't until November when I got my new computer when I thought, yeah, this is one of the first games I want to get. And I don't think I actually bought it until the Steam sale on Christmas, but the Steam sale was like ridiculous price. It was nothing. It wasn't. It was well worth the cost.
It was £5 or something.
Something crazy like that, yeah. And yep, that's when I got it, and I completed it within probably a couple of days. The single player, at least.
How about you, Ian? You had this for quite a long time, haven't you?
Quite
a long time, but a year.
Yeah, I had it for Xbox. Well, Portal 2 is what actually made me get Portal 1. As I was saying last week, I bought the demo for Portal 1 because everyone was talking about Portal 2, and I was desperately looking for something to play. But yeah, I've had Portal 2. After continuing on from Portal 1, then I just absolutely loved it. I didn't manage, obviously this one's a full game, I didn't manage to play this one in one sitting. I played over like 2 or 3 nights. But yeah, just fantastic.
The single player aspect of it obviously was, I'll confess I've not actually played much of the single player at all. And I do want to, just because I have too many bloody games on my list to play, Stu and I have virtually completed the new part of the game, the co-op version. I'm sure we'll complete that soon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's. What do you guys think of it graphically? Does it feel like there's been? It looks slightly better, but
once you get into the mechanics and stuff, it's quite a lot better. I mean, it doesn't stand up to the newest games, but it doesn't really need to. I think it's got as much as it really needs for the game it is.
Yeah.
It's very nice. There's a lot more detail and stuff than there was in the first game.
Yeah.
And I think it works very well.
It uses the Source engine, though, doesn't it?
I think it does. I haven't updated notes, but I'm highly sure it's just an updated version of the Source engine.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely I remember being kind of surprised by certain maps. It was puzzles. There was a lot going on in terms of background and just extra items lying around, and you're just adding to the atmosphere, which you don't get so much in the first one, which you don't expect because it was earlier, it was a new thing for them, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Key things to know about this, which I didn't know actually, was that this is actually part of the. It's in the Half-Life 2 universe. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew it was because. I didn't know originally, but I knew eventually because I'd seen links and stuff. But there's quite a few. Well, the odd reference to the world. Sorry, I'm just distracted. There's a few references to the previous game and to Half-Life 2 because there's like Link Cave Johnson talks when you link it later. But yeah, it's very subtle though. It's not very noticeable.
Well, let's the first one of the key things in Portal, of course, was GLaDOS. We talked about her last week. She's the one speaking over the loudspeaker, so to speak, to you, and you know, kind of like she's conducting these tests on you. That's what it feels like, and she is she got a personality and a half.
Yeah.
So here is the introduction to meeting the wonderful GLaDOS.
Power up initiated.
Okay, don't panic. All right, stop panicking. I can still stop this. Oh, there's a password. Okay, it's fine. I'll just hack. It's not a problem. A. Wait, did I do B? Did you have a pen? Start writing these down.
Power up complete.
I don't. Okay. Listen. All right, new plan. Act natural. Nothing. Hello.
Oh, it's you.
You know her?
It's been a long time. How have you been? I've been really busy being dead. You know, after you murdered me.
You did what? Ah! Oh no! Oh no! Ah!
Okay, look, we both said a lot of things that you're going to regret. But I think we can put our differences behind us. For silence, you monster.
So there you go, there's GLaDOS back.
Yeah, I think Stephen Merchant does a really good job as the voice actor there.
I was going to mention Stephen Merchant. Just if somebody told you that he was going to be, it just would not come to my mind to think that he would even consider him. You know?
Yeah, I mean, but I've never considered him as someone that great I don't know. It's not someone you would picture in that sort of role, really. Like,
yeah.
He's always seemed to be like an outsider in that sort of market, in the comedy market, really.
Yeah, definitely. He's always seemed like a sort of second best to somebody else. But no, I think his voice suits it perfectly. It really does. It's really impressed with it.
Yeah, the story.
I'm just watching the co-op here and watching us trying to work out what to do. It's quite funny. Sorry, you're saying.
Yeah, the co-op does take a little bit of coordination. If you don't know, I think on the Xbox version it's quite easy to go into into a multiplayer matchmaking system, and if you're not talking to the person, it probably would make it a lot more complicated when you get to these puzzles without talking to the person. So,
Ian, you've played the co-op, haven't you? I think
I did. I played it with a friend of mine. I think if you play it with some random person, you're absolutely insane because there's just no way that's going to work at all. But I did play it with a friend. We played through it. It was fantastic, really good fun, and really cleverly designed as well. I thought
insanely.
Yeah, because it's so well done that there's absolutely zero chance of one person like rushing ahead and waiting for the next one, which is occasionally what
you have to work together.
Yeah, it's absolutely essential. Purely because you need each other's portals at times, and just very, very clever.
Because I imagine that they have always wanted to see what they can do with 4 portals instead of 2, and this is just giving them the perfect opportunity to do that.
Definitely, yeah. But it's also that you can't cheat as well, because of course you got your own portals and they don't interact with the other person's portals. So, I remember instances where what are those bridges called?
I really don't know.
These blue bridges.
Light bridges.
Light bridges. That's the one. And of course you can put a portal at the light bridge, put a portal somewhere else on the bridge, goes through that portal and goes
continues
somewhere else on the map. So you're doing that, and you kind of forget that your portal's on the set up to that. So you shoot a portal somewhere else, and there you go. You fall in the water and you die. It's you got it. While you've got an extra 2 portals, it doesn't really make it that much easier.
Yeah.
If anything, it complicates things a bit more.
Of course, the bit that I absolutely adore is usually where there's quite a small space. There's like a small space, between the floor and the ceiling, and the other person has to place the other person has to place their portals, one on the floor, one on the ceiling, and one of you has to jump through it. And so you're essentially in free fall between portals in a very short space. So you build up speed and you quickly get up to the fastest speed you'll go, and then the other person has to shoot their portal at like a ramp or something, so that and the correct portal, so that you fire out with enough speed to make it up onto a ledge. And watching that is just hilarious. It's really the best.
Yeah.
I remember ones like it's not watching the video just now. It's not quite there, but there's just one where there's just robots in the room, and we'd gone from a quite complicated one to this one, and it was unbelievably simple what to do. Like, you just put one bridge on the right and one bridge on the left, or the light bridge on the left, and using using each other's portals in different places, blah blah blah. And
that's what we thought it was, yeah.
That's what we thought it was, yeah. And we kept trying it for ages, trying all these different things, thinking like we can squeeze in this tiny little space and not get shot by the robot. And then it's the simplest solution in the world. We just...
Yeah, we'll show that in a minute, but, there's a lot of stuff about this game, like, I didn't know, originally, did you know this game wasn't gonna have portals? They were gonna make it a adventure sort of game where you got to try and find your way around obstacles and stuff.
Portal without portals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, they wouldn't have called it Portal, obviously, but but I just think that the concept of Portal without portals just doesn't make any sense, and that's the main...
It would not work. There's no way it would have worked.
After it had gone through testing, it was immediately decided that they were going to bring portals back, so...
It's funny watching this back, because it makes me realise how much more work Stu put into this than me. I suck at this compared to Stu. He's just like thinking all these things through that. I'm just like...
It's so easy just to slam yourself into a wall with the launchers.
And hilarious as well. The animation's
when you're
so
watching
good in
somebody
this.
do it.
Yeah, it's just fantastic.
even simple things like when you get fire off a ledge and you're doing the right thing, you land in the right place, but you hit a wall. And just doof, you know. And as talking about GLaDOS earlier, I love that like, she comes in and talks about you know, the reassembler machine. When you die, for example, a couple of times in one map, it's like you do know the reassembler machine has other things it can be doing. Just little snide comments like that just sort of make it, you know.
And so many fat jokes. Portal 2 is chock full of fat jokes. It's like, alright, thanks.
The competitive stuff like Blue, you're doing considerably well. Orange, not so much, you know.
It's absolutely... The voice acting is like worth it alone, almost.
Definitely. But
yeah, this going back to what the single player, maybe even here. Going back to single player anyway, the storyline continues off from the original Portal games. So you're back in what do you call it? I want to say hibernation, but it's more of a
what do you call it? Isolation,
status, or I don't know, but it's something like that. But you're back in the, I'll call it hibernation, even though it's wrong. At the start of the game, you don't know, you can't talk, so you can't tell you don't know how you get there or whatever. But you're immediately greeted by Wheatley, who frees you from your room. But you find out there's a, well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't go into the storyline but too much, but what I'm trying to say is, later on in the game, you learn that there was far more experimentation previously than you would think from the original game. So you're going back in time, you're going back to the 50s when you've got someone you meet called Cave Johnson, who's starting talking about the earliest experimentation in... Sorry, back to the video. You just move portals and drop people, but there's a lot of story in this one in comparison to the previous one.
Yeah,
you're meeting new characters. You're learning about the history of the Aperture Science, and just traveling further down into the factory and seeing what's down there.
We've got a clip here. What is this of? The Mantis Men one?
This is Cave Johnson. One of the first times you hear him, because he's not a character you see in the game. So
it's quite a funny clip. This is quite a good one. Oh crap! I pushed the wrong button.
I don't remember Cave Johnson saying that.
He sounds a lot like me.
There's 1,000 tests performed every day here in our enrichment spheres. I can't personally oversee every one of them, so these pre-recorded messages will cover any questions you might have and respond to any incidents that may occur in the course of your science adventure. Your test assignment will vary depending on the manner in which you have bent the world to your will. Those of you helping us test the repulsion gel today, just follow the blue line on the floor. Those of you who volunteered to be injected with praying mantis DNA, I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news is we're postponing those tests indefinitely. Good news is we've got a much better test for you. Fighting an army of mantis men. Pick up a rifle and follow the yellow line. You'll know when the test starts.
See, that clip, yeah, it's a nice clip, but that clip, maybe not directly, but I think indirectly references to the creatures that you encounter in Half-Life 2. It's possible. I don't know if it is, but the fact that you've got these mantis men, as they call it, which is very similar to what the creatures look in Half-Life 2.
Sorry, I'm just watching us trying to work at this.
It takes us about 10 minutes or whatever to get through this
puzzle. I don't know if you're
puzzle.
at the same part in the video or not, but...
Which part are you at? Which time?
14 minutes 50.
Oh yeah, I'm just behind you. With insane amount of light bridges.
Yeah, we just couldn't work this bit out. It's so simple.
See, what we've done here is there's the robots are firing at us at one side, so we've blocked their shooting ability by using the light bridge as a shield. And all you really have to do...
Oh yeah, I remember this bit.
All you really have to do is make an additional portal on the other side and walk through it. But for 10 minutes, we've been trying to work around using the light bridge as a secondary area, and we just cannot figure out. But the next section of this video is even more hilarious, as you're about to see. It's just so easy to kill your partner in this. It's just so much funny when you do. Like, right here, I'm telling you, okay, just run, make a run for it, and then I realize I've blocked you, and the shield's no longer there.
That's brilliant.
Oh dear. How long did we spend on this? This is embarrassing.
It's a long time. But I have taken out the couple of the missions, which takes us like 20 minutes per mission. Yeah, I'm just, at this point I'm like, just make a portal over there and we can walk through it. I'm like, oh, that's pretty simple. But it's just so much. It's actually quite relieving once you've spent that long in it and eventually just find a solution.
Yeah, I was thinking about saying there is some sort of reward thing that you get from, I solved it, finally. Yes.
I'll still die to this bit. But no, the thing is as well is that it's the simple things like, the amount of times Stuart asked me, which button is it again to tell you where to put the portal? F. And like...
It's the shortcuts to...
Shortcut to put up, to say, sort of, this little marker saying, put your portal there. There's one just right now.
Yeah.
Those tools are so simple, yet they really just make it. The co-op thing, if you think about it, is really hard to do, because... Oh, no, not this one. It's just a really hard one.
Not the one that we spent ages on, no.
No, this is not it. We spent ages, that was not fun. So that's the thing, some of the maps, when you get genuinely stuck, you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I just don't want to do it.
But when you do, it's just so rewarding, though.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the main thing about puzzle games, I find. It doesn't matter how much time you spend on it, as long as you complete it in the end, it's so rewarding, and it just pays off. In most cases, anyway.
I could imagine if they'd built like 1,000 test chambers, I could totally get addicted to this. It'd just be like crack to me. I'd be like, yes, another test, give me another test. Okay, complete that one. Now the next test chamber. Just one more test chamber.
Do you think then the Portal 3 is going to happen?
Eventually, maybe, but it won't be for a while because they've got a lot of things on their plate they can do.
Like Half-Life 3.
You're talking Half-Life 3 could always be there to do. I don't see them doing it anytime soon. They've got all their games. Let's see. They've got their new Counter-Strike game coming out soon.
Yep.
They've got...
what's that called again?
Global Offensive, I think.
Yeah. It's a Source Engine again, isn't it?
Source Engine again, but it's a very updated version compared to the last one.
Oh, yeah. No, definitely.
It's very nice looking, considering they're using... I don't know if they're just using the same maps, but the maps that they're reusing are very nicely updated.
I'm not going to lie, the thought of running around Dust again is not that appealing. Or Office. Because we know all the hiding places. We know where not to go.
Yeah. So this part of the video, where I've got to make a run for it, and then you decide to leave me out in the cold. As we're about to see. But, yeah, I can't remember what other games they've got. They've got Half-Life 3. They might want to... I don't know if they're going to work on Half-Life Episode 3 or Half-Life 3, because both could be quite easily done.
No, I wasn't the rumours going around on Reddit that was...
Yeah, but it could quite easily just be a troll. It could just be that someone in Valve has made these t-shirts or jumpers up just to add to the speculation. But
oh dear. That's the one thing you can't cancel your portals. So...
yeah, that is a problem, actually, at times.
Oh, dear. So, Portal 2, what would we give it? Okay, we talked at the start about it being an improvement on Portal, for sure. Now, you guys scored Portal highly. Can you score Portal 2 even higher out of 10?
I'd go as far to say as Portal 2 is the definitive greatest game of all time.
That's a bold statement, Ian.
I wouldn't say it's my favourite game of all time, but I'd still say it's up there. Maybe 9, 10. At least very high 9 if it's not a 10.
I would say that this sort of game is not really my sort of game normally. This style of game. But Portal 2 is different. It really engaged me and got me thinking. I really enjoyed playing it. Especially the co-op. I would say I would give this... I think it easily deserves 10 out of 10 for in its genre being one of the best games it is.
Yeah, it's most definitely the best puzzle game. Probably ever.
The story, the functionality, the way it looks...
The voice acting, the jokes...
Yeah, everything is so well done. You can play this in 10, 15 years' time and still enjoy it. And I guarantee you, many people will.
I will say the only negative is that it's not particularly long. This single player, it's a lot longer than Portal 1, because it is a full game, but it's not that long. It could be longer.
Yeah, I think, though, to Valve's credit, I think it'd be very difficult to make Portal a lot of work to create these puzzles.
Yeah, and if it was longer, it would probably complain that it was too repetitive.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Because you need it to working without glitches.
Yeah.
And...
there are glitches in it.
Yeah.
It's like, there are quite a few glitches that you hear about. Is this... Oh, now I can't remember if it's Portal 1 or Portal 2 that has this level where something's shooting missiles at you, and you have to... This doesn't give away the story, so don't worry, but it's there's something shooting missiles, and you have to redirect the missiles to kill the thing using portals, naturally. And then you get through that bit, and then you have to get up to this vent, and there's certain bits and pieces around the level. Apparently there is a proper way to do it with boxes and things like that. But the only way that my brain managed to work its way through the puzzle of getting to the vent was to precariously stack chairs on top of each other. I think I stacked a chair and a printer and some other office furniture really carefully on top of each other, and then worked my way up to the vent using that, because it was the only way I could figure out how to do it. And it worked. But it wasn't the proper way, apparently.
Yeah. But overall, it's a very nice game. Even if there is a few bugs. I mean, most games have bugs anyway, as we're about to discuss in a couple of minutes. But, yeah.
So yeah, we play Portal 2. So, 2 games we're very satisfied with. Portal and Portal 2. Very good. Next week we're moving on to a
Civilization 5
section of games. Yes, we're going to move on to the sort of turn-based strategy games.
A different section, a different company, completely different.
Yes, I think this is a big difference there. You're using similar parts of the brain, so to speak, but it's not the same. And I mean, we can all shamefully say that we were up till 7 o'clock in the morning playing Civilization 5, the 3 of us.
Yeah, I think never mind the time Steam gives you. I think the time we've played collectively together on Civilization must be about 14 hours or more now. Maybe even 20, which is...
But
wow.
It is very addictive, Civ. It's something about it, because you have to finish the game, you have to... Come on. So,
one more turn.
One more turn. It says at the end, isn't it, when you win?
Yeah.
Just one more turn. So Civ 5 next week, which we're really looking forward to. And after that we have a duel, I think. Yes?
Yeah, we're going to do Total War. We're going to duel it.
Total War and Shogun 2.
Yeah. Total War, Medieval 2.
Medieval 2 and Shogun 2. Which, I guess you could do those two themselves, but we didn't feel there was a big enough change in those games to justify doing 2 episodes for each.
It's quite easy for us to talk about the mechanics and the general what it gives you in the game in one episode, because the storylines. Well, I say storylines. Neither game has that much of a storyline. Both of them play through a different time period in history, but that can be covered as quite easily at the same time.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good. Because we're talking about one new game, 2 newish games, one reasonably old game, kind of 2006, something like that. And then one of those is a sequel, or sort of sequel, if you like, an advancement of the engine in the company, whatever. So it'll be interesting to look at it. Looking forward to it.